On tonight's edition of Street Stories, meet Rachel and Jeanette.
I never really had anything to call my own.
Teenagers with no jobs, no money.
It's not a fun thing.
No home. And that's not all.
Oh my God.
They're about to become mothers. Children under siege.
She had whip marks that were just very, very deep.
The father did it.
You were charged with murdering a baby.
Yes. The mother stood by and watched.
This woman forfeited the right to be a parent.
I love you, okay?
Now she wants her children back. This is Reginald Pip Jackson.
How you doing?
He ran against this man, Jimmy Ray Reese, for county sheriff.
Why all of a sudden the wife feel tense?
And he won.
What we come up with is a very suspicious election.
Or at least he thought he did.
You would let candidates in the election rifle through the ballots?
One teenager's crusade in the streets.
I had these powers that could eventually get me sick and kill me.
In the classroom.
Before you had AIDS, did it occur to you to have safe sex?
There was him looking at me, honestly. You could tell he was opening up.
And in his own life.
I'm not dying, I'm living.
Good evening and welcome to Street Stories. I'm Ed Bradley. The government counts 500,000 teenagers who have left home, run away. Sadly, that statistic hardly surprises us anymore. But what is new and disturbing is a second generation on the street. Teenage runaways are having children. Harold Dow has the story of two such women, 2 lives on the road, 2 more on the way.
I'm scared of bringing the baby into this world and not having a place to stay.
The doctor said that the head of my baby hits my spinal cord.
She is waiting to give birth to a baby that was due over a week ago.
I want the baby to be stable. I don't want the baby to constantly be moving, you know, because that's how I feel like I am.
Jeanette is 19 and homeless. Rachel is 17, 8 months pregnant, and also homeless. Her boyfriend, Wayne, is not the father of her baby. She has been with him for only the last 4 months, both living in the back seat of his car.
This is where you sleep at in your car?
Sometimes, you know, when we didn't have other places to go to, you know.
Seems like a pretty tough place to sleep in.
Oh, it is.
It is.
You know, it takes a while to get comfortable.
It's better than just sleeping out on the street, you know. It's something, if it rains, you know, you got some sort of shelter.
Rachel, when was this picture taken?
Just before Christmas.
Was this a good time for you in your life?
Yeah. I was very thin, but obviously not now.
To be out on the streets, to be so young, and to be pregnant, that must be very difficult for you.
It's very difficult because, you know, I get car sick, and we always have to travel around in our car.
They will spend the day looking for someone who will put them up, at least for the night.
Are you ready to be a mother?
Sometimes I feel like I am, and sometimes I feel like I'm not, because living on the streets and not having a stable place, or not knowing if you're going to eat or not, or get sick, you know, I could catch something and my baby could die before it's even born.
She started running from home when she was 13. She wasn't running to anything, just running away.
My mom used to lock us in the closet in our rooms. We couldn't get out to go to the bathroom. She used to let us starve for weeks. Maybe send a piece of bread under the door. It was constant abuse.
So Jeanette ran as well.
Oh, wow, he is moving.
He likes it. He likes the music, that's all. It's louder. He's cranking his. Not too loud.
In the last 9 months, she's lived in 9 different places, sometimes with the father, mostly without.
He's abusive. He hit me. It brings back memories of my father hitting me, and I can't handle that.
Her latest address is Covenant House, a homeless shelter for people under 21.
I never really had anything, you know, to actually call my own. I don't want my child to go through that. I love this child with all my heart. You know, when I feel it move, it's great. I mean, I think about, you know, what is the baby going to look like? How is he going to grow up?
They're not sad when they find out they're pregnant. Oftentimes, and I've heard it repeatedly, it was the happiest day of their life when they found out they were pregnant.
Dr. Lawanda Rabura, a social worker, has worked with hundreds of homeless pregnant teenagers and claims that 80% of them will experience pregnancy by the time they're 20.
It's the same fantasy that most individuals have. They're going to grow up, they're going to have a baby, they're going to have a house, they're going to get a good job, you know, and they're going to live happily ever after.
For homeless pregnant runaways, there are few storybook endings. Dwayne takes Rachel to his family. He's brought her here before.
Can Rachel come in?
The answer is the same as yesterday's. She can't, and neither can Dwayne as long as he's with her. Eventually, Dwayne's mother arrives.
Has your grandmother's gone bankrupt?
I let him know, Mom.
Or you? As in,
I let
will
him
be
know.
on it. You let him know you've got a son in Cooper City, you haven't even paid
They already
child
know
support?
that, Mom.
Then fine. Then I'll be on it. You want to do all that?
She agrees to talk with Rachel.
I think he should be thinking more about the son he already has. I'm sorry, but, you know, it's nothing against you. You know I like you, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a baby of his own, and he has not been supporting him. He's behind, and, you know, he hasn't gone to visit him either.
He can't go to his own. She'll have him arrested.
Well, whose fault is that? That's his fault. Okay? He's thinking more about you than he's thinking about his own child.
Dwayne finally has heard enough.
Hey, see, that's the whole thing right there, Mom. When you're young, you make mistakes.
Did you feel rejected here?
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel?
It's not a fun thing. Especially when you've had it all your life.
Different people have approached me, and they've tried to talk me into giving it up for adoption, maybe signing it over to them. And I just feel like I would be watched for the wrong move. And they would say, she seems to be incapable of taking care of her child. You know, I'm really scared about that. Oh, my God. God. Oh. Oh, my God. Whoa, Jeanette's in pain.
Just breathe.
Hello, is Rosemary Thursday?
Comes back down.
Yeah. Feeling right now?
I'm having it now.
They're 5 minutes apart. That means that we're going to the hospital right now.
I'm not sure if my water's through.
Well, how do you feel?
Well, I feel like I'm leaking
Okay.
every now and then.
Okay, maybe it's going to get rid of... Excuse me.
Please.
Excuse me. Whoop, don't pull the baby apart.
Because Jeanette has no permanent address, the hospital will notify the state when she gives birth. And the state will take the baby if it decides that Jeanette is unfit.
These young girls are reluctant to go to the system to ask for help because their fear, as soon as I ask for help, they're going to identify me as being not a good parent. So they desperately try to survive on their own.
Well, Rachel, let's see if we understand this clearly. For the last 8 months, you haven't eaten regularly.
No, I haven't.
You had no prenatal care.
No.
You used drugs.
Yes.
Doesn't that worry you?
It worries me a lot.
By the end of the day, Dwayne has convinced Rachel to enter a shelter so he can look for work and a place to stay.
I'll be there for you when you need me, okay? You just stay and get some help, all right? I love you.
Oh, what a good job you did.
that a beauty?
I did awesome.
What's his full name?
Blade Michael Delgado.
And he came in at 8 pounds, 3 ounces?
Yeah.
Mucho grande, eh?
Jeanette is back at the shelter. Rachel is waiting to be admitted.
I'm going to get all the help necessary for the baby and me. And I'm going to try to make it to where I'm not going to be in the same situation again. I'm going to do everything in my power to keep from living on the streets again.
Until Jeanette can find a permanent place to live, she will share a room with 3 other young mothers and their babies.
Can you open up my door?
Jeanette, what's going to be the hardest part of motherhood for you?
The fact that I was abused when I was little, and the fear of abusing him.
You really have a fear that you might abuse him?
Yes.
But trying to understand it, you love him.
I'm
Don't
sure my
you?
mother loved me.